You have someone special in your life, and there's a heartfelt message about what's really been happening behind the scenes. They got it wrong at first, thinking you didn't care because you kept your distance. But the truth is, you were looking out for them in your own unique way. You noticed dangers and heavy burdens they were blind to, and you chose to protect them, even if it meant keeping quiet or pulling back. At first, they couldn't understand why you weren't more outspoken or visibly supportive. They felt hurt or puzzled, believing you were indifferent. But as time went by, they began to see things differently. They realized that what seemed like coldness was actually your way of caring deeply. You were trying to shield them from pain in situations they weren't ready for. Each decision you made, whether to remain silent or to stay in the background, was a careful choice to protect them from something overwhelming. Perhaps you held back your own emotions to avoid overwhelming them, or maybe you were preventing them from making a choice that could lead to harm. It's hard to stay quiet and restrained, especially when your heart wants to reach out and connect. The angels recognize the strength it took for you to hold back, knowing it might lead to misunderstandings. Your actions weren't about pushing them away, they were about offering a different kind of support, one that watches over and guides subtly, without taking control. Now they finally understand that your actions were rooted in care, not detachment. They realize they were wrong before, and it's been hard on them because they thought you didn't care. It's almost like they've been carrying around a heavy weight of guilt for a long time, feeling bad for not understanding your quiet ways and misreading your actions. They thought you didn't care, and this misunderstanding made them pull away, building walls between you that didn't need to be there. Now that they've seen the truth that your silence was actually a form of deep care, they're filled with regret and a strong desire to make amends. For a long while, they've held onto this guilt, wishing they had reached out more, asked you deeper questions, or tried to understand why you were so reserved. It's tough for them to admit they were scared fear clouded their judgment and made them see things that weren't true. They interpreted your silence as indifference, not realizing you were actually protecting them or giving them space to grow. This realization has come as a relief, but also a source of pain, because they see how much time and emotional energy was wasted on false beliefs. Now, armed with this new understanding, they really want to make things right. They're scrambling to find the right words, the right actions to show their gratitude for your unseen sacrifices and the silent support you've always given. They're relieved to finally understand that you were never uncaring, but at the same time, they deeply regret how they misinterpreted your actions. They've spent countless nights replaying your conversations, searching for hidden meanings in your words, and wondering if they had somehow failed you, or if they simply weren't important enough to warrant your attention. This regret isn't just about misunderstanding you, it encompasses all the missed opportunities for connection. They think about the times they could have been closer, shared more, or supported each other better, if only they hadn't let their misconceptions lead them astray. They might have pushed you away or concealed their own feelings because they felt hurt by what they perceived as a lack of concern from you. Every time they withdrew from you, they were actually responding to a pain that wasn't really there, a pain created by miscommunication and misplaced doubts. In their confusion and hurt, they might have even acted out in subtle ways, hoping to elicit a reaction from you, a test, to see if you cared enough to bridge the gap they felt was growing between you. But instead of recognizing your protective measures as acts of caring, they saw them as confirmations of their deepest fears that you didn't care. But now, with this newfound clarity, they see how wrong they were. They understand that all these gestures, which they once thought of as distancing, were actually your way of showing love and care. They realize how invested you were in their well-being, always acting with their best interests at heart. The subtle ways you showed your support, even when it wasn't obvious, now stand out like beacons, guiding them back to a path of understanding and appreciation. Every time you stepped back, allowed them to make their own decisions, or struggle through a tough situation, you were honoring their strength and their ability to overcome challenges on their own terms. This realization has profoundly changed their perception of your relationship. Love, they now understand, isn't always about stepping in to solve problems, but rather knowing when to step aside and let someone find their own way. Your guardian angels have shared this insight because this person strongly wishes to reconnect with you and make up for their past mistakes. They're not just looking to rebuild the relationship on the old foundations, but to create something even stronger, built on a foundation of trust and mutual understanding that they've come to value so deeply. They may not yet know how to express their apologies for doubting your intentions, but they're eager to show you that they now see and appreciate the depth of your care. Love and care don't always appear in expected form sometimes. They manifest in subtleties that require a more discerning eye to appreciate. This person has realized that, and they're ready to rebuild the connection with a deeper, more profound understanding. The angels encourage you to remain open when this person reaches out. Allow the past to be a guide for future communication where you can both be open about your feelings and intentions. To end, here's a prayer for both of you. May you find peace amid the confusion and relief from the weight of guilt that has burdened their heart. Let them see beyond past misunderstandings to the true depth of care and love that has always been there, waiting to be fully recognized and appreciated. Gotten a new pair of glasses that lets them see your time together differently. Moments that used to feel cold or confusing now have a new, clearer meaning. They're starting to understand the sacrifices you made and the quiet support you gave. They're seeing the subtle ways you tried to help, whether it was by giving them space, offering advice, or holding back information that might have been hurtful. They remember how you guided them, not by telling them exactly what to do, but by giving them just enough insight to figure things out on their own. When you didn't share everything, it wasn't because you didn't care. You knew some things are best learned through personal experience. Every choice you made was a sign of your trust in their ability to handle things, even if they didn't realize it at the time. Now, they see that all these actions were ways you showed love, not that you were trying to push them away. They understand how deeply you cared for their well-being and growth. The ways you supported them, even when it wasn't obvious, now stand out clearly as signs of your care. Every time you stepped back or let them tackle a tough decision alone, you were actually honoring their strength to overcome challenges by themselves. They now get that love isn't always about jumping in to solve problems, but sometimes about stepping aside to let someone grow. Your guardian angels have let you know that this person really wants to reconnect and make things right for misunderstanding in the past. They don't just want to fix the relationship, they want to build something stronger based on the deep trust and understanding they've now come to appreciate. They might not have the right words to say sorry for doubting your intentions, but they're eager to show you how much they now see and appreciate your care. Love and caring don't always look the way we expect, and they're ready to rebuild your connection with this new understanding. The angels encourage you to stay open when this person reaches out, using the past as a guide for how you can communicate openly and honestly about your feelings and intentions in the future. Here's a little prayer for you. May you find peace in the confusion and relief from the guilt that has been heavy on your heart. May you move past misunderstandings to see the truth of how much you've been cared for. My dear viewers, show your support by giving a super thanks up to $20.